Hello. I really do think I'm live this time. Do you know it sometimes takes a little while for the computer to actually catch up? And then I spend some time and I look at the computer and I look at the light and I think, oh, am I actually on? Am I actually going? And then so then I start talking and then it flashes at me again and I go, okay, no, now I really am on. Okay, so hopefully I am on. Hopefully you can see me, anybody who wants to join me during this session, although it is a really beautiful day outside and I know that there's been a lot of people have been in for a lot of the day. I also hope that my computer doesn't mess around. I can see my light flashing a couple of times, so I do hope I'm actually it's actually working. Never mind, let's crack on, give it a go, let's see what happens. I just want to, I'm going to start by just saying thank you so much to, hello Laura, thank you so much to all the ladies who've given up their time to be here today, and thank you so much to all the people who've been, watching us today. I thought that the weather was so beautiful, we might end up with actually not that many people watching. Hi Kelly! We might end up with not that many people actually watching it live, but I do hope that we'll be able to, even that those people who haven't been able to see it live because they've been too busy doing beautiful things in the beautiful sunshine are able to catch up. And I think it's, it's due to snow next week, so I'm really pleased that we've had a lovely day. About wellness and mental health, and it is, I can see my camera flashing on and off. I really hope it's not causing too much of an issue when you're watching. Anyway, this is a wellness day, and I know you might be thinking, well, why are we talking about clutter on a wellness day? Isn't a wellness day more about yoga and stuff like that? And it absolutely is. But there's more and more research to be shown recently that there's a big link between mental health and clutter in your home. That's not to say that all minimalists are happy or that all people who have a lot of stuff are unhappy. It's actually more about the sense of autonomy you have over your home and the sense of control that you have over your home. And that's really what makes that link. So if you feel, you can have loads of stuff, but if you feel like your home is under control, then you'll be a happy person with it. Basically, is how that works. Loads of research. I can probably point you in the right direction if you'd like to read more about that. But I just want to talk a little bit now about why we organise. I know I spoke about this a little bit in my introduction. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Probably ought to do that as well. I mean, you probably know who I am by now, but I'm Rosie Barron. I'm the Tidy Coo. I'm a professional declutterer and organiser and a KonMari consultant. That means I've been trained by Marie Kondo, just like because I know not everyone knows what a KonMari consultant is, which means that I tend to declutter in a certain fashion. Again, I can see my light flicking on and off there. I hope it's not causing too many problems with this. Anyway, so why organise? Well, first of all, of course, we organise because it helps our mental health often. And the second thing is that one of my very favourite quotes is, what is it that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Because that really, to me, is what getting decluttered and organised is all about. It's all about having the time to do what you really want to do. It's really not about being Pinterest perfect or Insta worthy or anything like that. It's about, living. People say, they're like, you're a professional organizer. Your home must always be tidy. And I just laugh lots and lots because, it's really not. I've got 4 children and I've got 5 dogs and I've got 3 cats. You can imagine, and I home educate the children all the time. So you can imagine what my home sometimes looks like. But it's very easy to tidy up my home, basically, because it's all so organized. I can see that there's comments and I can see that there's lots of lovely viewers. It's just not so. Oh, hello Nicola and Fiona and hello Natalie. Oh, I just ought to point out, so Natalie, who's on this call, is very exciting. Natalie is a KonMari trainee and is going to come in under the Tidy Coo, and I'm so excited to have her with us. Anyway, sorry, slightly digress there. And I've lost my track because, of course, that's what I do. This is why I generally don't look at the notes as I go. I don't look at the comments too much because my mind is very much like squirrel. Oh, and Jane's come on. Jane is also a KonMari consultant. Hi, Jane. Right. So my big thing here is I always say, and this is one of my favourite quotes again, and mainly it's my favourite quote because I made it up. And it says, "I'm not organised because I have time. I have time because I'm organised." I have a really busy life, okay? I have I run a successful business and I educate my children. Hello, Lorna. Hello, Victoria. I educate my children at home. I've got 8 ponies, 5 dogs, 3 cats, bunnies. You know, I have it all. And I often get asked, you know, how do I manage to keep on top of all of this? And it's really very much down to sort of a decluttered and organised lifestyle and house. It's not about my home being perfect all the time. It's about my home not holding me back. So that's why we get organised. We get organised so that we can get rid of the stuff that's holding us back and we can really move on with our lives. And that's the whole point, really, of this sort of mental health and wellness day and things. I do have some little notes here that I'm flicking my way through, because if I don't have some notes, I really will lose my track. Hello, Lynn. Hello. I think I said hello to Lorna already, didn't I? Okay, so that's who I am. That's why you should get organised. And now, how do we get organised? So I'm going to run you through the way that I like to get organised. It's based on the Marie Kondo method. It's quite I bring a bit more of a British slant to it. Anyway, so here we go. And again, my light's flashing on and off. I hope you guys can see me well enough. I just know my camera's messing around, but oh well, never mind, I'm still live. Let's keep going, eh? Do let me know if you can see, if it is causing an issue, my camera, or if you are able to see me. Right, so the steps you need to take in order to declutter your belongings are these. You need to commit to tidying first and foremost. Once you've committed to tidying, you need to work on your vision. When you've worked on your vision, we declutter first before we do storage. We start with the easiest decisions. We work in categories. We make sure we handle every single thing. And then we let go of our belongings with gratitude. I'm going to come back to a bit more to the storage at the end of it. But when I say commit to tidying, what I kind of mean with this, well, obviously get a professional organiser in, because we're the best commitment. But if you can't, if you don't want it, you can't have a professional organiser, and if you don't want to have a professional organiser in your house, you know, I understand that. But if you can find someone else to be an accountability partner with you, then that really is a great thing, you know. And then you can sort of help each other along when you get stuck on things. You can also join. There's lots of groups around. I mean, I have my own group. It's Get Organised with the Tidy Coup, and I run various challenges and things in it to try to keep people accountable and to help them on with this. So that's my whole sort of commit to tidying. And then the vision part of this. So the people I find who do the best on this, the best without a professional organiser, that is, anyway, the people who do the best on it are those who have the strongest vision. So those are the people who really know what they want their lives to look like. And I always say with this, well, there's 2 ways I get people to think about this. One is I say, if I could come into your home and I could wave a magic wand, what would your home look like? Because that's a really good way to get people to sort of start to think about how they would like their home to look. And then the other way I say is, I'm like, imagine your absolutely perfect day. So imagine you got up in the morning and you went to your wardrobe. You got up in the morning and your room was all lovely and clear and it was peaceful, and you woke up easily, and you went and you opened your cupboard, your wardrobe, and it was full of only of clothes that you loved, and you're able just to pull out all these clothes that you absolutely love. And then you were able to float downstairs and have your breakfast, that sort of thing, and you go through it in as much detail as you possibly can, so that when you get stuck later on, or so when you're having issues making some of the decisions, can't even speak sometimes, issues making some of the decisions, you can look back at your vision and think, is this really where I want to be going with this? Does this support the life I'm trying to lead, basically? Okay, so then our next stage on this is we always declutter first, okay? Never, ever, and this I am being a bit like never, ever. I'm not normally a never, ever sort of a person, but never, ever just go out and buy a heap of storage and then just try to organise what you still have, okay? It doesn't work like that. What you need to do is choose, first of all, what you want to keep. Don't waste your money and your time buying storage before you've decluttered. You really don't need to buy storage first. And that's frequently because by the time you've decluttered your belongings, you realise actually you hardly need the storage. You will need some sort of storage, and I always encourage people, at least to start with, to use the storage that they've got, to use the solutions they've got. When we've finished, great, go and buy, go knock yourself out, buy storage, whatever you want it to look like, however you want it, whatever solutions we can find to make your life easier, that's great. But don't do it until we've finished decluttering. So now the next bit I want to talk about is starting with the easiest. So often I get people and I go into their houses and they're like, well, I want to start here. And they'll want to start in a place which it'll be a high stress place. It'll be something that they'll want to get organised. Oh, yeah, sorry, my camera flicking on and off again. Sorry about this, really, guys. I thought I had it all sorted, but obviously not. Anyway, start with the easiest things. Don't try and go in there and start with something that is a massive and stressful project. Start with the things that are super easy. And one of my favourite analogies for this one is, when we're learning to swim, when we're teaching children to swim. I mean, I know that some people have just been thrown in the deep end and learned how to swim, but as a general rule, we don't just jump in the deep end and try to learn to swim because we drown or we need rescuing. And those people who do learn to swim that way, it's not necessarily a very pleasant way to learn how to swim. So I always say, we start by paddling. We dip our toes in the water, we have a little paddle round, we see what we can do, and then as we become more confident with our, sorry, saying this about, yes, we definitely declutter first. As we become more confident in our ability to swim, and then we start to go out and we go a little bit deeper and we learn to float. But so that by the time we hit the deep water, by the time we hit the difficult decisions, we know how to swim. We can actually revel in the depth of the water. We're not scared of the decisions we're making because we've practiced with these easier decisions. And that really is, so start with the easiest stuff. Now, I would always say probably clothes is the easiest, but then sometimes other things are easy. I'm starting a spring clearing challenge tomorrow with my group. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end and invite you to it if you want to come. But I'm just going to start on medications because medications generally are quite easy because you just throw away the expired stuff and that works quite well. But yeah, start with the easy decisions. Don't worry about if you've got a really rammed full kitchen and you're going to struggle with your kitchen. Let's not start there. Let's start with something easy and work our way up to your kitchen. Right, then the next stage I always say is work in categories. It is so tempting to work by rooms and I often will work by categories within rooms. But what I will find is that if you just work by room, you'll often find you start to churn your belongings. You'll think, well, that doesn't belong in this room, but I'm not quite sure where it belongs. So I'll churn it away and it'll go and it just ends up moving around the house. And that is actually, churning is actually an official term, I think. I think it's an official term. I don't think it's one that the KonMari consultants made up anyway. And the other thing about working in categories is that often you don't actually realise how many things you have until you bring them all together. So one of my absolutely lovely clients, she knows who she is, we decided we were going to declutter the nail clippers. So we found all the nail clippers. I think she had 13 pairs, might have been 11, but 11 or 13 pairs of nail clippers, which she didn't realise she had because there was, a pair here, and a pair there, and a pair over there. So it wasn't until we gathered them all together and then we looked at it and we were like, who needs this many pairs of nail clippers? And we were able just to choose like the one or the two best ones and keep those, and all the rest were able to go. So always work in categories, always work, by towels or by sheets or by socks, and the categories can be as big or as small as you want them to be. I mean, sometimes people, if I'm working with a client, we'll try, it was 13, so thank you, Laura. It was honestly, I can keep seeing my camera flash on and off. I'm really sorry if it's being a bit of a pain. Anyway, where was I going with this? I was talking about categories. So often when I'm working with a client, we'll work out or I'll estimate how much I think we can get through in that session, and I'll kind of get that much out. But if you're working on your own, you can just start with just your socks or just your pants. You don't have to start by getting all of your clothes out. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about here was the whole handle everything. And when we're talking about socks, and I'm glad my camera's fine. Honestly, my camera keeps flashing on and off here, so my light flashes on and off, and then it makes me worried. Anyway, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was handle everything. So frequently I go into people's homes and they're like, no, that drawer's fine. We don't need to go into that drawer. And I say, okay, fine. You can keep everything in that drawer if you want to keep it. It makes no odds to me how much you keep. I've done my journey. This is about what makes you happy. But then we start to go through that, and we start to find that where you might have thought that your number of socks that that the socks were fine, actually you can get rid of about half the socks because they've got holes in, or they don't match, or something like that. And while sometimes, perhaps it feels a bit like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, you're just trying to make your sock drawer look nice. By the time you've done your socks, suddenly, and you've folded them nicely, suddenly you've got a half a drawer which you've got free, and then you can put something else, and before you know it, you've got a whole piece of furniture free, or you're able to start moving things around. And this is another reason that we don't buy storage before we've decluttered, because I remember my mum saying to me, she said, but what you do in the bedroom, in the wardrobe, that's not going to have an impact on the stuff in the kitchen. And I said, well, actually it will, because you'll find you'll open up space in the bedroom or something like that, and there'll be then you might move your shoes from the porch, and then you might move something else and you just move the stuff around the house as the spaces open up, which is why we really don't finalize the storage until afterwards. Let go with gratitude. Now, letting go with gratitude is something that is kind of peculiar almost to Marie Kondo and the Marie Kondo method. And some people find it a bit odd trying to, thanking things when we let them go. Hi, Lizzie. Thanking things, when we let them go. But sometimes if you are struggling to let something go, if you're thinking, I literally had this today with a client because I was working this afternoon. So yeah, I've just come from work and I'm just, I should just talk now. And she had something she really loved, but they were old and they really did need to go. And I said, well, how about you thank this? Say thank you to it, and the act of saying thank you to this item of clothing really allowed her to let them go. Kitty, you must let go of those socks. Sorry, I just see that I have 3 sets of socks. Get rid of them, Kitty. You don't need them. Pass them on to somebody who does need them to wear. Anyway, right. So that's one of the whole sort of letting go with gratitude things. If you're grateful for the things that you have, then you can let them go, and it does make it easier. So on to a couple of the storage solutions. I'm not going to go massively into any of this. I've got so much stuff out there that you can, I'll signpost you in the direction of a lot of the stuff I've spoken about here. But I'm just going to talk then quickly about storage. When we store stuff, store like with like. So don't have a drawer which is just all tumbled up with all the different things you can't see, because you've got like sweaters and jeans and tops in that one, and then the same sort of stuff in that one. Make sure you store the stuff together. Again, it helps it to go in categories. You can see how much you've got, because again, I've worked with people and we've suddenly discovered that they have like 20 pairs of black leggings. It's like, who needs 20 pairs of black leggings? She didn't actually feel that she could let any of them go, which was fine because that was what was right for her. But what it did mean is she could see that she had all these sets of leggings and she didn't need to buy any more. Because that's another thing, that often people can't find their things, and so then they go and buy more, so they spend their money buying more. So store like with like. Make sure that everything, if you store all your trousers together, store all your tops together, store all your food together, don't spread it around. Try and store it in a place. I always suggest as well that we store things vertically in drawers and things. It's a little bit like, I see drawers with things shoved in them horizontally, and that's a little bit like having a pile of books and only being able to see the one on the top. When we set books up, we make sure that we can see all the spines, that we can read what we've got. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing when we set a drawer up. If we store vertically like this, then we can see all the spines. It makes it a lot easier to see. So that's one of the reasons I say that. And the other store vertically thing I say is to use vertical storage. So I will often use the backs of doors and things to use it, because often you'll find that space is kind of wasted. So it's quite nice to use that vertical storage. And when you're thinking about where to store something, one of my favourite things is, where would I look for this? So if you're not quite sure if you're not quite sure where to store something, if you think, well, where would I look? Where's the first place I would look for this set of keys? Store it there. That makes a lot of sense, basically. So I've kind of whizzed very quickly over the method and things there. I'm going to go and faster than I often do in some of these talks that I do. But I wanted to move on to folding, because folding is always, people love folding demonstrations. So I just wanted to move on to a folding demonstration. I've got a whole basket of clothes here. This is stuff I just dragged out of my washing basket, because I mean, one of the really big things I want to say here is that I'm really not perfect at any of this. You know, I have this tendency to leave stuff in my washing basket for ages and ages, and then I sort of fold it all in one day. I'm like, oh, right, fine, I'll just do that. And the same with my paperwork. You know, I mean, like I'll sort it out as it comes in, but then I'll have like a big filing session every couple of months or so. I'm really not very good at filing it. But that's fine, because so long as I've decluttered it, it's then actually relatively easy to organise it. So I'm just going to push my computer back a little bit so that I've got this space in front of me. Stand up, move my tea out the way, and I'm going to demonstrate some different folding, how we fold stuff. To start off, I've got a t-shirt. Let me just move my camera a bit. You won't be able to see me so easily, but you will be able to see the t-shirt. Here we go. Right, okay. So we get the t-shirt, we fold it out nice and flat. We give it some love with our hands. And then one of the reasons we do it with the flats of our hands is A, to give it some love, but B, because if you manage to get it nice and flat, you then don't have to iron it. And I'm a big fan of not making my life any harder than it needs to be. So if you then fold it into the middle and the sleeve down, a bit like that, and then the other side too. Sleeve down. You can tell that this isn't one I folded yet. I did that rather fast. I hope you saw it. I just folded it into the middle and then the sleeve down. And then you fold it up. You leave a little bit of a gap here as you fold. And then you fold again. Again, I haven't done that very tidily. Never mind. Anyway, that will then, perfect. Will stand like that. But I'm going to show you as I go along. I'm going to fold stuff and I'm going to put it in the boxes. So just if you're somebody who doesn't fold and put in boxes, you know, I just want to show you how easy it makes it. So that's the first. The second thing I want to show you is how to fold a hoodie. Now the hoodie is very similar to the one we've just done there, but with a hoodie, of course, you've got the added disadvantage of the hood. But actually, I quite like the hood. I'll show you what I do with the hood. So again, into the middle, stroke the sleeves down. And again, this is all about, well, A, showing it love, and B, not having to iron anything, because I really, really would feel very annoyed at having to iron a hoodie. And then you fold this up and up. And then I like to fold the hood around it, basically. And again, it makes sort of, you know, quite a neat package. So it's, oops, that doesn't look terribly neat, but I promise you it's actually quite a neat package. And sometimes, again, I get this sort of thing where people sort of feel that that perhaps, you know, that tidying a sock drawer or something, or folding socks is really a waste of time. But I mean, I do work with, normally I just work with people who have just got themselves in a little bit of a pickle. But I do work with people who have hoarding tendencies as well. And one of the things I will say is that sometimes if you can get just one bit of your home looking sort of nice and feeling under control, then you really feel more like you want to continue to keep things under control. That's certainly what I found anyway. So when we come to trousers, again, stroke them out, and again, stroke it out again. Bring them in. I tend to tuck the tail in at this point, and then fold. And it depends very much on your storage as to how much, as to how deeply you fold it. But again, if you can see there now, can you see? Yes, I will adjust it afterwards, but you can see how easy it is to see these items in here. And I know I say I might be going a little bit fast with some of this stuff, but I mean, honestly, I have like 100,000 videos for you to watch at any time if you want. I want to show you a little trick here about this. I do this with pajamas, but I also do it anytime I go traveling, especially when I'm traveling with the children, because it makes it easy. So I get the top out, and I'll again fold it down, and then when I'm doing my pajamas, I just sort of folded the bottoms off to one side there. But anyway, I've got the bottoms there. If it's just pajamas, it's just bottoms that goes in. But if I'm traveling, then I'll put an entire set. So I'll put like the top, then the bottom, and then the pants and the socks and everything else. I know it might sound a little bit funny to be doing this, but honestly, it makes life so much easier when you're on holiday, particularly when you're with children. You just grab something and go. So then into the middle now. So effectively, I'm now folding my pajama, because it's a set. I'm folding it around each other so that it's easier. And I tend to roll them when they're like this. It's just easier to find the thing. So that's my whole set of pajamas. And I don't need to faff around, looking for the other half of it, because I know it's there. I brought heaps down with me, just because I wanted to show you various different things to fold. So this is a really big floppy jumper. Again, I hope I can see my camera flicking on and off. I do hope it's working. This is a really big floppy jumper. So with this one, I do it sort of the same, but I fold it further over. This is my loungewear. So it's just so fluffy and comfortable. It's really lovely and soft. And then with this, because if I tried to fold it, it would probably sort of fall apart. So instead, I roll it. So I roll it like this. Roll, 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 roll. And then it's easier rolled. Makes it much easier. And again, you can see I'm putting it in here. Much easier to see things when it's on the top. The final big thing I've got to show you. Now, in my house, this hangs, and it hangs on. And I like to hang on velvet hangers because I like the streamlinedness of them. I like the fact that they're quite slim, and also that things don't fall off. But this is a way that you can fold, say, a cardigan that doesn't do up down the front. So if you're folding something that doesn't do up down the front, you lie it on its back to fold, rather than I tend to lie things on their front. Bear in mind, I'm sort of saying these things as if they're absolutely the right or the wrong way. The only right or wrong in these situations is what works for you. I'm sure that the other KonMari consultants who are on this watching will have their own ways of doing things. So, and I am always very much of the whatever works for you, school of thought. So I'm just folding that over. So it doesn't do up, but I've just laid it over, folding it in. Again, quite a floppy sort of a jumper, cardigan. There we go. That one. I've not folded it quite so far over just because of the type of material it is. And then, but this one I will fold. Don't know if you can see that. There we go. Fold, fold, fold. And into the box. And again, just see how much easier it is to see it rather than one on top. Final little bits that I want to show you how to fold. And they are little bits. There's knickers and socks. So socks, I hate seeing socks all bundled up. It always seems rather sad. So all I do with my socks is I straighten them out, and then I just fold them over. And I can fold them over again, and then they slot in a box. This is not my thong. You can tell it's not my thong because it's like a size, I don't know, 12. And I'm certainly not a size 12 anymore. I don't think it's ever been worn, this thong. I hope it hasn't anyway. Anyway, right, I digress. So in order to fold a thong, you stretch it out nicely, and you put it over, flick it there, and then you just tuck the tail in. That just makes a nice little package. And again, as I said, sometimes people are a little bit like, why would I waste my time doing that? But having these things sort of looking really neatly and really easy to see, I don't know, it certainly calms my mind. I've yet to find someone
who doesn't find their soul a bit calmed by having everything looking neatly in order. Even people who like to keep lots of things. It's nice when things look like they're in order. Again, these aren't my pants. I mean, I say they aren't my pants. What I mean is they're not pants I wear regularly. And you can tell they're not pants I wear regularly because they look quite fancy. But anyway, I don't tend to wear fancy pants. Sorry, Ian. Anyway, so that, again, fold over one side, fold over the other side, fold down, and tuck it in. And then you've got a little package there. So, I'm not going to attempt to fold a fitted sheet today. I do have videos where you can see plenty of things that I fold. But again, in here you can just see again how easy it is to see things. So that's how easy it is to see those. And then these ones that I did as well, you know, they're just super simple and straightforward. Makes it a lot easier. I'm quite pleased I did that because it was one of my jobs to do later, actually, was to fold the laundry. Done half of it now. It's brilliant. Right, so let's have a little look down to see if if anyone's got any questions, then you can whack them out now. Glynis, you're absolutely welcome. Anna, I'm glad you like to fold your pants too. Lizzie, yes, no, my thong days are definitely behind me. As well, and I'm so pleased my camera is working. It's just been like flashing on and off. Emma, yes, I loved working with you, Emma. Thank you for having me in your home, and well, thank you for having us online first, and then a session afterwards. I think we did a session afterwards where we just sort of did a few things afterwards. So what I want to say now is I'm just seeing if there's any little any questions that are coming up. Thank you, Romana, for the demo, for that comment. So what I wanted just to say before I disappear, I'm aware mine's only sort of half an hour long. I did say that it would be between half an hour and 45 minutes. I'm absolutely exhausted. I just need to point that out today. I woke up in the night at 2:30 and I just could not get back to sleep. So I was awake from 2:30 until 5. And then at 5 o'clock, I went and got back in. I didn't go back into bed, actually. I thought I'm not even going to bother trying to get back into bed. I went and I had a nap on the sofa for an hour and a half. But then, of course, I had to get up and come and do the welcome for this. And then I rode both my ponies this morning because it was so beautiful weather. I say both my ponies, got more than two, but both the ponies I want to, both the ponies who are my responsibility to ride. And then I worked with a client all afternoon. I'm absolutely on my knees. I just have to say this. So thank you for being here and keeping me awake. I'm going to go to bed after this, I think. But before I go to bed, at 5:30 in the afternoon, I wanted to tell you a little bit. So I wasn't going to do this, but then I thought actually I'm going to need. But I would like to offer people, basically everybody who's come here. I'd like to sort of say I'd like to offer something for people to be able to come and join in. So from tomorrow in my group, which is Get Organised with the Tidy Coo, and I'll put a link on it, I'm starting a spring clearing challenge, basically. So spring clearing challenge, I'm going to do a small challenge every day. Shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes. It may take you a little longer, let's hope not. The idea is it's going to be small bite-sized things that you can do. I'm going to do it over 2 weeks. Just a little short video a day. So it'll be a short video from me, hopefully then a task that won't take you too long. And so please feel free to come and join me in that group. I am only going to do it in my group because I feel that I feel that there has to be perks to being in a group, doesn't there? Really, there's no point me just doing it in a group and then doing it elsewhere, because then the group people will have no perks. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Thank you, Stephanie and Amanda. I'm so pleased you've done brilliantly today. The ladies here, and I actually also feel like I really need to thank Original 106, who have had me on the news, wittering away on the news I think all the news bulletins on the hour every hour. So thank you 106 for that. I really wasn't expecting that. But yes, excellent. Rosie, I think you're in my group already, Rosie, but honestly, just come along and we'll have a great time. Brilliant. I can't see any more questions, so I'm going to love you and leave you. Definitely, I have a bottle of Carver in the fridge, actually. and I will be gone. Right, take care, my lovelies. And I will come back and check the questions. If you do have questions and you haven't seen it live, you want something answered, pop it in the comments and I will try and get round to answering it, possibly tomorrow. Okay. Right. Okay. Bye bye, everybody.